Evans was born Mary Lee Evans on August 26, 1926 in Long Beach, California. Actually, I'm gonna put on my glasses. We're learning right now. Born of distinguished French and early American prominent families, Dixie would later joke that even though she was from aristocracy, she ended up a stripper. Her father was in the oil business and was tragically killed when she was 7, leaving her mother to raise 2 young children on her own. By the age of 16, Dixie dropped out of school and started working. She became a jack of all trades, having worked in a hospital, the celery fields, and during World War II, she worked at Minter Field painting stars on the planes.
Wow.
Dixie began taking dance lessons in her late teens and became a chorus girl in the late 40s. She began performing in burlesque theaters and nightclubs all across the country. While performing at Minsky's in Newark, New Jersey, Mr. Minsky came into her dressing room and said, "You look like Marilyn Monroe, so I'm going to call you the Marilyn Monroe of Burlesque." Thank you. Yes, ma'am. He insisted that she utilize the resemblance, saying that tourists would recognize the big name and will put "of Burlesque" in small letters. Evans became a superstar of burlesque when she cultivated her blonde bombshell look into the perfect Monroe tribute, complete with an act in which she is an actress who comes to Hollywood and has to strip for an unseen producer on the casting couch. After her burlesque career had ended, Dixie, Jenny Lee, and other fellow burlesquers would meet at the Sassy Lass Bar in San Pedro, California for a reunion. Jenny Lee, known as the Bazoom Girl, we can see why, was an avid collector of burlesque memorabilia and costumes. Jenny Lee and her husband eventually moved to the Mojave on an abandoned goat farm where the burlesque reunions would continue. After Jenny Lee lost her battle to breast cancer in 1990, Dixie became the curator of the Exotic World Museum. In 1991, Evans decided to turn the reunion into the Exotic World pageant. For those of you who don't know what the Exotic World pageant is, it's the equivalent of our Miss America pageant, only for burlesque dancers. So she turned the reunion into the Exotic World pageant to bring attention to the museum. In 2007, Dixie packed up the Exotic World Museum and moved it to Fremont Street in Las Vegas. It is now known as the Burlesque Hall of Fame Museum. As for the Exotic World pageant, it is now an annual international burlesque competition known as the Burlesque Hall of Fame Weekender. The coming of the new age of burlesque would not have happened if it weren't for the godmother of burlesque, Miss Dixie Evans. Alive. Many of our biggest names in burlesque, some of which are performing on this stage tonight, were nurtured by Dixie as performers and drew inspiration from her. As Dixie would say, burlesque is history and it deserves to be told. Are you ready to get this show started? So remember that casting couch I was telling you about? It's here. Are you ready? Our very first performer, Dixie Evans, taught her this number, the number that she was most famous for, but encouraged her to make it her own. This beautiful woman won the title of Miss Exotic World in 2002, and she's known as the Queen of the Quake.